so much for coming tonight and taking time out of your schedule to come hear about this opportunity. We really appreciate it. My name is Jody, and I am a mom of two small children. I'm a wife, and I'm also a kindergarten teacher. And I've known Luke and Mariah and Marilyn for quite some time, and I knew that they had been involved with this company. And I reached out to them one day because I wanted to know more. 15 years ago, we found out, right before I went to college, that my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And that hit our family really hard. It was hard to watch her go through that. And now being a mom myself, it got me thinking about my health and my future with my children. And I want to be there for them, and I want to be the healthiest, happiest version that I can be. So that's one of the reasons that I started and got involved with this company. And the other reason is I want to support my family financially in an incredible way. I want my children to benefit and be able to do things that not everyone can do. So that's another reason that I got involved with this company. And getting involved with this company, what I have found is the people are amazing, they are inspiring, they are so positive, and it is a wonderful group of people to be around. They uplift me every single day and help me be the best version of myself. So we're going to start, if you've heard of ABC Primetime, what they do is they go and they investigate companies. And they try to find out information on the companies. And I didn't know this before I started this company, but a lot of the companies that they go check out and investigate don't end in a positive way. Usually the person is running out of the building with their face blurred. What you're going to see here is a different story. Our story did not turn out that way. So we'll get started.
An edge on turning back the clock with just a few pills? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. As I found out firsthand, there may be a way to erase years, at least inside my body. Granted, it's down the road, but some scientists are wondering if a new pill I took might offer a very long life. It may not look like the fountain of youth, but inside this nondescript building, I'm about to become part of an exciting experiment, a kind of guinea pig. I can record, okay. I'm here at the University of Colorado in Denver to meet Dr. Joe McCord, a world-renowned scientist. This is a pretty exciting stuff.
It is. We're very excited about it.
His latest research could very well unravel the mystery of aging itself. And his decades of experiments may have the potential of adding years to people's lives and possibly prevent chronic diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. It all centers around this small yellow pill, and for me, it begins with a blood test. They want to check my levels of something called T-bars, which is a rough indicator of a person's actual age. T-bars can identify a condition known as oxidative stress, a kind of measure of the wear and tear on our bodies. Oxidative stress, like the rusting of an engine, is not a good thing.
Bad for the body,
Leading to disease.
leading to disease and leading to malfunction, and importantly, leading to what we call aging. It is a slow progression of increasing oxidative stress. That's the main characteristic biochemically of the aging process.
For a long time, scientists thought that antioxidant vitamins like C and E would lower it, but they don't.
And it's turned out in just the last 5 years or so, we see that they're not good enough tools. They're not powerful enough.
But this pill, he says, is powerful enough. In fact, many times more powerful. With that swallow, I've just become part of a potentially landmark scientific experiment. It's called Protandim, and tests on both mice and humans have already shown that it revs up the manufacture of those good enzymes in our bodies. More enzymes, fewer free radicals to harm us. Whether that will lead to longer life is still unknown.
Right now, all we know is that this preparation decreases oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is not a disease, just like aging is not in itself a disease, but it's something that accompanies and is attached to many disease processes. So you can see the age-related.
Normally, oxidative stress, measured by those T-bars, increases with age. But in Dr. McCord's tests, taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old.
They all are reduced to the level of oxidative stress that one would expect, frankly, in a newborn or a very young child.
Back to the oxidative stress levels of a child? It sounds too good to be true. Will Protandim work on me?
The scientific evidence is there. The pieces seem to make sense. The question is, does this translate into something that humans can take advantage of?
So, just what's in this seemingly incredible pill? Well, actually, its roots are very humble. Protandim is a combination of 5 plant ingredients. Some you may know: green tea or turmeric, a spice used in Indian cooking. Others, Withania somnifera and Silybum marianum, are more exotic.
There's a huge human experience with each of these ingredients. They've been used often in traditional medicine in India and China and many other cultures. In some cases, centuries and centuries.
And so, ancient Eastern healing and modern Western medicine may soon be working together. High oxidative stress is associated with more than aging. It's been linked to hundreds of illnesses.
It's at the very center of many diseases: liver disease, diabetes, emphysema, asthma. I've studied all of these: strokes, heart attacks, even mental disease. Yes, depression, Alzheimer's disease, depression.
We make no claims about curing any disease or preventing any disease. We hope that when enough studies are done, perhaps such claims might be able to be made in the future.
But what about my process? After nearly 2 weeks now, it's time to get my results. Dr. McCord calculates the numbers. The result, my level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically.
45%, that's excellent.
Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after.
Which, if extrapolated back, is the level you would see in a newborn baby.
Have we turned back the clock? Well, maybe not on the outside, but deep inside within my cells. Yes, indeed.
Would you suggest I keep taking this supplement?
I would.
So anyways, okay, I'm Gordon. Dr. Gordon is going to be presenting a little bit. We've been married 31 years. We have 2 kids. We've been on product, 6 years? So anyways, he saw this just like you're seeing it now. When he saw this, November, I was just coming off of, was diagnosed with breast cancer in October of 2010. It was 2 weeks after I went through a bilateral mastectomy followed by reconstruction. That 2 weeks after my surgery is when he saw what you just saw. And so Mark has always been wanting to be on the preventive side of medicine. And he was always on the lookout for good supplements he could be taking, that we could be taking as a family. And so when he saw that, he just went, wow, if this is true, there's got to be science behind this. And so what he would do, as any good doctor would do, is look at PubMed.gov. And he's going to share that. But there's science behind it. And he's going to tell you what really hooked him when he gets up to talk. But what ended up happening after this happened in 2005? I mean, we all in here have oxidative stress. There's nothing we can do to avoid. And Mark's going to get into all the things that are causing us, as we age, to have more oxidative stress. This is the only product that's out there that has been proven to reduce oxidative stress on average of 40% in every within a month in every person who takes it. So you can just imagine, you're watching this. When that ends and John Keown said, for more information, go to abcnews.com, guess what people did? This is a publicly traded company. At the time this aired, there was $1 a share for their stock. But after this aired, they could have sold $5 million worth of product. The stock shot to up to $20 a share, just on sheer speculation as to what this product was going to do in your body. So people wanted this product. But you know what? Dr. McCord, his researchers in the lab, they didn't have the infrastructure to fill the orders. They didn't have the sales team, the marketing teams. They even had Oprah's office call. They wanted him to come in to her show. Dr. McCord didn't even return the call. Why? He had no clue who Oprah was. He's a lab rat. And thank goodness for us that didn't happen. And I say that as when that aired and they couldn't fill the orders, okay, the stock ended up plummeting to like 17 cents a share. They didn't know what they were going to do. This company knew they had a good product. They knew that there's no other supplement that could do what this had proven to do. But they were stuck. How are we going to get this into the hands of the masses? So what they ended up doing is they got a consultant to come in, and he took one look at that ABC investigative report and said, do you realize how powerful this is? This is a third-party story that's ending positive. You could have capitalized on $5 million of sales because you didn't have the infrastructure, you lost out on that. What you need to do is you need to pull this. They tried online sales. They tried selling it in retail. They were only selling about half a bottle per store per month. Okay? They said this product is too big. The story is huge. This needs to go into person-to-person distribution. It needs to go into the network marketing realm. But Dr. McCord and the board of directors were like, I don't know about that. But the consultant was adamant. Okay, let's do a field study for 6 months. Let's get some network marketers to promote this product. We'll keep it in GNC. We'll keep it online. Let's just see what happens. Well, guess what? After that trial, the network marketers have outsold retail by 300%. So in May of 2009 is where they decided, okay, you're right. The story behind these products is too huge. We need to be sitting person to person, sharing what this product is, what this company has to offer people. So that's what happened. In May of 2009, it went into person-to-person distribution. And at the time that happened, the company was making maybe $3 million a year. After 4 years, now we're over $200 million in sales right now. We're on track to be a $1 billion company. But the other thing that I didn't tell you is, even though, there are some people who got their orders filled so that they were able to get product. The neat thing that happened is there were scientists and researchers sitting there watching that ABC investigative report. And they actually contacted Dr. Joe McCord themselves to say, hey, our university wants to start using your product, Protean, to study XYZ disease. So, of course, Dr. McCord, sure. So Dr. McCord provided them with the product so studies could start. When Mark went on PubMed.gov that night, he decided to jump on board. There were 7 peer-reviewed studies on PubMed.gov. Today we have 22 studies. And he's just going to highlight the ones that he feels needs to be highlighted tonight. But you can go on PubMed.gov and you can see the 22 studies right there, showing that we, an all-natural supplement, so a company that's a network marketing company, has science behind all our products. So that's why we're so excited. We never planned to do this as a business. We just wanted product for me, for him, for his parents, for my mom, for even the hunting dog, you know. So when we jumped in, we bought what was called the Vantage Pack at the time, just because we wanted a lot of product. It wasn't until we plugged in, so we started taking product November of 2010. We started promoting this business January 2011. After going to San Diego to what's called an Elite Academy, so we got to meet Dr. McCord. We got to meet the people who had been talking to Mark about coming into this company. And when we saw people just like you and I up there on stage saying, you know what, these products have blessed our lives, and because we've shared it with others, we've been able to bless hundreds of other people because of these products. Because they are getting better health, and for people who choose to jump in and do the business and to actually take the action needed, their finances have improved. So after we heard their stories and really looked at each other going, we have to share this. Once you know about this information, you feel an obligation to share. So that's what we're doing. I'm so glad the guests that are here, that you're here, just to educate yourself as to what's out there. What is on the market that your own body can get upregulated to get itself back into balance? That's what I'm excited about. I'm 6 years cancer-free. I can't think of another supplement on the market anywhere that's been doing in my body what Proteanum has been doing. And I take all the products. Their skin regimen, the ProBio, the Axio. All these products, since there's science behind it, I'm so thankful we found LifeVantage in these products, because I know I give my body that chance to just heal itself. And that's how God created our bodies to be. What can we be doing? What can we be eating, drinking, or whatever to help our body do what it needs to do, and do it like we did when we were 20. So with that, I'll call Mark up, Dr. Mark Gordon, cardiologist, retired as of December 31st, 2015. Anti-aging medicine now.
Thank you. Just got back from a conference in San Diego. It's called the Academy of Integrative Medicine and Health. And I'll just have to tell you a quick little story. Every day I sat next to the same person, and it was this Chinese surgeon who also had an aesthetics clinic where she did cosmetic surgery and stuff too. And the first day, some of you saw me drinking my Axio back there. The first day I sat down at the table, put my Axio bottle down, poured my Axio in and shook it up, and she said, "What is that stuff?" I said, "It's brain food. You need some." So I gave her a couple. And the next day, came in, sat next to her again, same thing, gave her some more. And after about the third day, she said, "You're trying to get me addicted to this stuff, aren't you?" And I said, "Yep." Well, tonight she signed up as a distributor. I just got to share the product and the story and so forth. How many here are currently taking Proteanum? How many people have felt a positive effect in their body as a result? I didn't see anybody's hand go down. And that's the beautiful thing about this, is people do take this, they see results, and they naturally just want to go out and share it with other people. And that's how come, this is such an easy thing to do. It's not a complicated thing to do. We just share with people what we've experienced. But what really caught my attention in this was the science. I wasn't looking for a business. I didn't have any need to. I was working full-time as a cardiologist. I had a good income. But I didn't have time freedom. But I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know that there was another way. But when I first watched that ABC News investigative report, I did exactly what Pam said. I went to PubMed.gov, which is the National Institutes of Health website for medical research, and I looked at the 7 studies that they had back then. That was in 2010. And I was looking at the places that were doing it, places like University of Colorado, Harvard, Texas Tech, Louisiana State, Ohio State, Virginia Commonwealth, and so forth. And I was looking at what they were finding, what they were studying. They were studying skin cancer, they were studying cardiovascular disease, muscular dystrophy, and so forth. And myself being a cardiologist, naturally I was drawn to the cardiology-related stuff. And I started reading these things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we've got great drugs for a lot of different things in cardiology, but one of the things that we don't have a drug for is reducing oxidative stress. And oxidative stress plays a key role in the development of cardiovascular disease. So I thought to myself, oh my goodness, this is the missing link. Why hasn't some drug company come out with something that addresses that problem of oxidative stress? So I dug in and I started reading the studies. And I was impressed with the places that were doing the research, the fact that they were using their own research dollars to do the studies, and the results that they were finding. But more than anything, there was one study from the journal Circulation, which is the journal of the American Heart Association, that was done on Proteanum. And when I read that, I kind of said, okay, this is not snake oil. The American Heart Association is not going to publish a study on snake oil. So I said, I need to get this stuff. So that's when I signed up in the middle of the night to get that Vantage pack, to get all that product, but never once intending on doing the business. So let me talk to you a little bit about the science behind this and why I got so excited. So Dr. McCord, for those of you that aren't familiar with him, is kind of the father of free radical biology and antioxidants and redox therapies and so forth. He got his PhD at Duke University back in 1969, and he discovered an enzyme called superoxide dismutase, or SOD for short. And that enzyme was recognized as the most potent scavenger of free radicals that had ever been discovered. And he knew, Dr. McCord knew, that if he could find a way to get the body to make more of this enzyme, he could have something that could treat literally hundreds of different conditions. So he started developing drugs, synthetic compounds that could be used as drugs. He found some that worked that increased the body's production of this SOD, but they caused too many side effects. People couldn't take them. So then he and some other gentlemen looked at using plants instead, and they studied 40 different plant compounds, and they whittled it down to the 5 that are in Protandim, which are green tea, turmeric, milk thistle, ashwagandha, and bacopa. And they found that those 5 together enhanced the effect 1,800%. And so that's why we have Protandim in the form that it is today. So what is oxidative stress? For those of you that are not medically inclined, the layman's description is rusting of the body from the inside out. When we eat food and we burn that food as fuel, we create energy in the form of ATP. But there's a byproduct to that, or a waste or exhaust product, and that's called free radicals. Free radicals are highly toxic molecules that will damage any part of the cell that they bump into. And that damage to the cells is the oxidative stress. And it's a cumulative process. It's not like, boom, you have one hit from a free radical to a cell and then that cell dies. It's like multiple hits over the time that you're alive that lead to the decline of the cell and then ultimately disease and then death. And so free radicals and oxidative stress are really the root cause of over 200 different diseases that they talked about on that video. Well, one of the neat things about our bodies is, as Pam mentioned, I believe that they were intelligently designed with an innate ability to fight these free radicals. Our own cells produce antioxidant enzymes that fight the free radicals. But the problem is we start making less and less of those as we get older. Past the age of 20, our bodies start to slowly shut down the production of those protected antioxidant enzymes. So as we get older, the free radicals do more damage because we can't fight them off, and then we age. We actually age faster the older that we get. And along with that, we get all the diseases associated with aging. Now, in addition to that, we have a very toxic environment that we're exposed to. And there's a lot of things that we can avoid, some things we can't. And all of these things on this page increase free radical production, oxidative stress, again leading to cellular aging, disease, and death. So if there were a way to reduce oxidative stress, would that be a good thing or a bad thing?
Good.
Good thing. So, Mr. Sean Post says oxidative stress is
Bad.
Reducing oxidative stress is
Good.
And then he moves on and talks about business. But we're going to go a little bit more in depth. So, can you help me out there? There we go. Oxidative stress affects every organ system in the human body. And you can go around the circle here, starting at the top with the heart. It causes heart attacks, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure. In the skin, it causes all sorts of problems like melanoma, skin cancer, psoriasis, dermatitis. In the kidney, it can lead to kidney failure. Every type of arthritis you can imagine. Lung disease like asthma, emphysema, COPD, cancer. The brain, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, autism, migraine, cancer, immune system, things like rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease. In the blood vessels, atherosclerosis and endothelial dysfunction. In the eyes, macular and retinal degeneration, cataracts. In the gastrointestinal tract, ischemic bowel, and toxic liver injury. So, you look at this and you say macular degeneration, what on earth does that have to do with Alzheimer's? Nothing. Except oxidative stress is the common cause for all of these different things. So again, if you could reduce oxidative stress, would that be a good thing? Yes. So, what they found is that Protandim has the ability to reduce oxidative stress an average of 40% in 30 days. And that's from a human clinical study. And the FDA has seen that study and they allow us to make that claim. But let me describe to you how Protandim is different from everything else that's out there. So if you take a standard antioxidant, everybody knows what antioxidants are, right? Vitamin E, vitamin C, beta-carotene, fruits, berries, juices, and so forth, right? One of those molecules of an antioxidant will neutralize one free radical molecule, but then that antioxidant molecule is used up. Whereas with protandim is not an antioxidant. Rather, what it does is it induces the cells to increase production of antioxidant enzymes. And those enzymes, like SOD, can neutralize up to 1 million free radical molecules before they get used up. So a molecule of SOD is literally 1 million times more potent at neutralizing the free radicals than a molecule of vitamin C. So over the years, I'd always had an interest in antioxidant therapies as a potential preventive measure against heart disease. And so every time I'd get a new cardiology journal out, I would scavenge through it. Are there any articles about antioxidants? And when I would find one, I would read it. And I was usually disappointed because the conclusions were that antioxidants didn't do anything to reduce the risk of cancer or heart disease. And I was puzzled by that because logically it would make sense that they would. Well, here's part of the problem. When you take in those antioxidants from the outside, vitamin E, vitamin C, and so forth, and you're using those to fight the free radicals, you're trading one you're trading one free radical for another, because this antioxidant, when it neutralizes the free radical, it does so by donating an electron, and when it donates an electron, it becomes a free radical. So if you've got a whole bunch of, say, vitamin C in your system at any one time, because you're taking large amounts of supplements of vitamin C, you may actually be turning what you're taking as an antioxidant into a pro-oxidant. So it's actually causing damage to your cells. And there are studies that are out now, you can go look these up, with tens of thousands of patients in them, that have shown that in certain patients, taking large quantities of vitamin C, vitamin E, and beta-carotene may actually increase your risk of cancer and heart disease. So there's really been a paradigm shift in our thinking about antioxidant therapy in the last 10 years. And we're recognizing now that it's not necessarily a good idea to take huge quantities of those antioxidant vitamins, but rather get your cells to make antioxidant enzymes which don't have a downside and have significantly more potency in neutralizing those free radicals. So the way that protandim does this is through this NRF2 pathway. NRF2 is a protein that's in every cell in your body, and when it gets turned on, its job is to go and act as a messenger into the nucleus and turn on the genes that code for those antioxidant enzymes. So it revs up the production of those antioxidant enzymes. It also decreases the production of the pro-inflammatory things and the pro-fibrotic things. So you get the best of both worlds, more of the good and less of the bad. And the net result with protandim is a 40% reduction in oxidative stress in 3 days. Now, as I was learning about NRF2, I found that there are now drug companies that are making synthetic NRF2 activating compounds. And this is a partial list of drug companies and universities that are currently making NRF2 products, NRF2 activating products, but they're all synthetic drugs. And each one of these companies or universities currently has a patent on a compound or more than one compound that are NRF2 activators. This company up here, Biogenetic, is the only one that has one that's FDA approved right now. It's called Tecfidera. It's a drug for multiple sclerosis. And there have been now 3 comparative studies between protandim and Tecfidera. But because protandim is a supplement and not a drug, we cannot make any claims that it cures, treats, or prevents anything. But I would encourage you to look at those studies and find out which of the 2 products was actually more potent as a NRF2 activator. And I'm going to leave you in suspense and give you a homework assignment to do that. NRF2 is becoming a big, big deal in the preventive medicine and anti-aging world. Not so much in the general medical community. So if you went out and asked 100 doctors what they do about NRF2, you'd be lucky if you found one who had any clue what we were talking about in the standard medical world. Now, if you go to an anti-aging conference like I was just at down in San Diego, actually 2 of the speakers talked about NRF2. But here's the really interesting thing about it. They talked about NRF2, how important it is to activate that pathway to increase antioxidant enzyme production and so forth. But the things that they were talking about to increase NRF2 activation were archaic compounds that people do use, but they don't have anywhere near the potency as what protandim has for activating that NRF2 pathway. These people who are teaching others about NRF2 don't even know of the existence of protandim and the fact that it is the most potent NRF2 activator that has ever been studied. Now this article came out a little over a year ago, and it was a review of all of the different diseases that have been looked at with regard to NRF2 activation. And the basic theme of the study was everything that they looked at, every disease that they looked at, pretty much they found that NRF2 activation was beneficial. And this was one of their concluding statements. NRF2 may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventive breakthrough in the history of medicine. And we are on the very cusp of that right now, because we're hearing about this before everybody else. Oregon State University did a bunch of longevity studies with NRF2, and they found that those animals that had the highest levels of NRF2 not only lived the longest, but stayed healthiest the longest while they were alive. And so Oregon State University dubbed this the longevity assurance factor. And so what we've been talking about up to this point is Protandim NRF2 activator, or NRF2 synergizer. This is the flagship product. This is the product that launched the company, the one that they talked about in the video that you just watched. And you can go to pubmed.gov and you can look at all the studies that I looked at, all 22 of them now. So here's what's in Protandim NRF2. Green tea, turmeric, milk thistle, ashwagandha, and bacopa. You don't have to know what any of them do. This is what's important. If you look at them individually, they don't do much at all with regard to activating those antioxidant enzymes. But you put the 5 together in the right combination, an 18-fold or 1,800% increase. So some people I talk to who don't like network marketing companies may look at Protandim and they go, oh, you know what, I'm just going to take some turmeric. I'm just going to do that, and that's going to activate my NRF2. Really? It actually goes down. But I've heard doctors tell me that, doctors who you would think would know better. Well, I'm going to take bacopa. I heard that activates NRF2. Really? Let's go. No, that goes down too. The only thing that actually increased it by itself was milk thistle and ashwagandha a tiny, tiny bit. But you can't get anywhere near the NRF2 activation unless you put all 5 of them together. So these people that I like to call reductionists, they want to reduce everything down to one compound. It's like you got to treat with one compound, right? Or one drug. Those people always want to find the one thing that does it. Well, what I've learned in my anti-aging and natural medicine stuff is, you know, people talk about eating whole foods and how that's a better way to do it than trying to whittle out what individual compound it is in that food that's better for you or helps you or whatever. We're finding that all of them together have a synergistic effect. And that's exactly what we found here, is you got to put the 5 together. Taking one or the other or a couple of them isn't going to do the same thing. And so that synergistic effect that I just showed you is the reason why we got 6 patents in the US and 3 international patents on Protandim. So we don't have to worry about people making generic versions of this. One of the speakers in my anti-aging conferences spoke about NRF2 for the first time. Interesting story about this guy. He's the chief science officer of another nutraceutical company that makes a product that is supposed to activate NRF2. And it's a single compound. You know what it is? Sulforaphane. For those of you that don't know, that's the active ingredient in broccoli. It is a NRF2 activator. It is 1/7 as potent as Protandim at activating NRF2. So he was the guy giving this talk about NRF2. And he said this: NRF2 is a revolution in science and is the most important anti-aging pathway in the human body. After he was done, I went up to him and I said, have you heard about Protandim? And he said, yeah, actually, they've got some really good studies. At the time that I was telling him this, I did not know that he was the chief science officer of this other company, and I just thought that he was a smart guy speaking to us all. I found out later that he was the chief science officer of that other company. But after the break, when he came back, he said to the entire class, and there were about 100 people in the class, he said, somebody came up to me at the break and just reminded me that there is an all-natural product called Protandim that if you guys are looking for a NRF2 activating product for your patients, this would be a really good one to consider because they've got really good studies. So later when I found out that he was the chief science officer of a competing company, I was kind of like blown away that he made that statement, you know? Now, most recently, this is a study that came out, the National Institute on Aging Longevity Study. This was an independent third-party evaluation of supplements looking at their ability to extend lifespan, okay? This was the National Institutes of Health that did this. They did not consult our company before they did this study. They looked at fish oil, curcumin, turmeric, green tea, these are by themselves, resveratrol, protandim, and then they looked at some drugs. Protandim was the only supplement that extended lifespan. So I told this to a cardiology colleague of mine who is very, very into the natural treatment things. He left the cath lab and he's doing all natural vegan therapies and all of this stuff for his patients in Michigan. And I told him about this. He's actually a LifeVantage distributor, but he's doing nothing with the business. I said, Joel, did you see this NIH longevity study? He said, yeah, but Mark, it was in mice. I said, Joel, could you tell me how you would design a human longevity study? Think about that for a moment. He said, yeah, you're right, you got me there. But there were no other supplements that extended lifespan. Protandim was the only one. 7%, it may not sound like much, but it was statistically significant. And that's 5 years in human years. And furthermore, for half of the study, the first half of the study, they were underdosing the protandim by 50%. So who knows what they would have found if they would have been giving the right dose from the get-go. Now, if you want something that works better than protandim at extending lifespan, combination of metformin and rapamycin, diabetes drug, immunosuppressive drug. People thought for the last 5 years that metformin was going to be the first longevity drug, the first drug that was going to extend lifespan. It doesn't by itself. There were articles all over the medical news about, oh, metformin is so great. There were actually anti-aging doctors who were taking this even though they weren't diabetic because they thought it was going to extend their lifespan. And then the study came out and they all quit taking it. Because the only way that it works is if you take this immunosuppressive drug with it. So think about that. You're going to take a diabetes drug, it's going to lower your blood sugar, and then you're going to take an immunosuppressive drug that's going to suppress your immune system, so the next time you get a cold, you might drop over dead. I'll take my protandim. So we were just talking about protandim Nerf 2. This year, the company came out with another protandim, Nerf 1. What's the difference? Nerf 2, as we talked about, reduces oxidative stress by increasing the body's production of those antioxidant enzymes. Nerf 1 is another messenger protein, but it does something different. It's responsible for increasing the function, the number, and the health of the mitochondria, which are the powerhouses in the cells. They're the ones that make the energy. Here's what's in it. They found that this combination of these 5 ingredients enhanced that NRF1 activity by 60%. And so the mitochondria as the powerhouses in the cells create the energy, but if they're not functioning properly, all you might feel is fatigue or tiredness. But if it gets really bad, these are some of the types of things that can happen. Cardiomyopathy, autism, Parkinson's, cerebral palsy, epilepsy, Alzheimer's, mitochondrial disease, muscular dystrophy, Huntington's, developmental delay, chronic fatigue, diabetes, fibromyalgia, Lou Gehrig's, and learning disabilities. Now, you can have poorly functioning mitochondria and not have any of these conditions, but all of these conditions are linked to poorly functioning mitochondria. So the analogy I like to use is I'm a car guy, I like to use a car engine. You got a 40-year-old car, the engine's never been tuned up. It spits and sputters, a couple of the cylinders aren't working, it spews out a lot of exhaust, and it's just not working very efficiently and giving the power that it should. You take that engine to a master mechanic, he tunes it up like the day that it rolled off the showroom floor, and it purrs like a kitten. It's more efficient, more powerful, and doesn't produce as much exhaust. That's exactly what tuning up your mitochondria does inside your cells. So it helps to get rid of the junk that was created from poorly functioning mitochondria, and by making the cells function more efficiently, you get more energy to the cells, and therefore more energy to your body. So what I'm going to do now is just briefly cover these other products that the company has. I spent a lot of time talking about protandim because that's a flagship product. Axio is the brain food that I was telling you about that I was giving my surgeon friend at this conference I was at and got her addicted, so she had to sign up as a distributor to get her fix. But this stuff is amazing. It increases concentration, focus, clears that brain fog, and it really has helped not only with that, but also with physical performance. And I drink probably 4 to 5 of those a day. Physique is the weight management system. It includes a cleanse, a probiotic, which I would argue ours is the best in the market for probiotics, a protein shake, and then a fat burn. And if you're needing to lose weight, this is a great system. If you're not needing to lose weight, just take the probiotic, because everybody should be on a good probiotic. True Science, anti-aging skincare system. Okay, this was based off of the Nerve 2 technology in Protandim. 2 of the earliest studies on Protandim were from Louisiana State University on the prevention of melanoma skin cancer with Protandim. And I can't tell you what the results were. You have to go read the study for yourself. But the results were so impressive to the researchers that they went back to the company and they said, you guys need to develop a skincare line because this Nerve 2 activation in the skin is such a big, big deal. It causes healing and regeneration of the skin. So the company came out with this 4-step system to help improve the youthfulness of the skin. When I was talking to this doctor tonight, when she signed up to become a distributor, she has this cosmetic and aesthetic clinic. And she was telling me, you know, all of the stuff that I have my patients take, it just fills in the cracks and wrinkles. It really doesn't do anything to heal the skin. So she was very excited about the potential of this Nerve 2 activation in the skin. And I think, you know, most of the people who are distributors in here are using this, and I think we would all agree that it does a fantastic job. And then finally, Canine Health, which is dog meat Protandim. It also has omega-3 fatty acids and collagen in it. People started giving their dogs Protandim. Dogs had higher levels of oxidative stress, and they were seeing remarkable results in their dogs. And so the company capitalized on that and developed the Canine Health. And we've got 3 dogs that are all on Canine Health. We've got a puppy who's not quite a year old. We've got a 13-year-old hunting dog with a bad hip, and then we've got a overweight 6-year-old, 8-year-old golden retriever / border collie mix. And they're all on it. And the 13-year-old I actually took out hunting yesterday, and even with her bad hip, she did remarkably well. And I thought today she wouldn't be able to walk, but she was up moving around. We gave her Canine Health yesterday and try to do it on a regular basis. But if you do have a 4-legged friend and you want them to be healthy and live for a long time, you really need to get them on there. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn things over to my good friend Luke here. And he's going to just finish things up. Luke is an engineer, and no better person to talk about numbers than an engineer.
So we're going to finish up with the fun stuff, the numbers. Mark said I'm a mechanical engineer here in town. You have to bear with me, I have a little bit of a sore throat. Going into a little bit of the story behind that, it kind of ties in. But so I have a sore throat. I was helping Marilyn and her family finish up harvesting corn, breathing in the corn dust, breathing in all the dust. Got myself a little bit of a sore throat. And the reason I was helping them out is because they got a little behind this year. Many of you guys know what has happened with their family. They lost a lot of cattle, and it was just a really hard time for them. But it ties back into why they did this business in the first place. Building a strong plan B, because when that happened to them, you know, when they lost 86 cattle and they're sitting in a hole in their field, that didn't cripple them, that didn't put them to their knees, because they built a strong base before these last 5 years. And that's what's so important that most of us don't have. You know, looking back at my family history, everybody in my family, it's always been one stream of income. It's never been multiple diversified streams. And I knew that I wanted something else for me, and that's why me and Mariah are building this business. But one of the main things that you have to think about when you're something random and a chiropractic clinic. Does that sound like wellness? Does that sound like wellness is really becoming a trend?
Yeah.
Can we all agree about that?
Yes.
We have Whole Foods, we have everything, people running, biking. Everyone wants to be healthy and they want to be preventative. They don't want to wait till they get a disease, they want to get in front of that. And another huge trend that I would argue is the largest trend that's going to be in this coming economy is e-commerce or online marketing, you know, the Amazon effect. there's hundreds of Walmarts that are closing down. I couldn't imagine 10 years ago that Walmart would actually be having stores closed down. I figured there'd be Walmart in every single town, but there's actually hundreds of Walmarts that close down, and it's because of stores or online marketplaces like Amazon and those other retailers. Google's actually making their own competitor to Amazon because they feel like e-commerce is such a huge thing. And with this business, everything we do is online. We don't go around delivering bottles of Protanum and putting them in people's mailboxes. We sign people up on our website and ship straight from the company to their door. That's online marketing. That's us stepping in and filling that void in the e-commerce economy. So those are two huge trends that we can participate in with this. And another huge part is timing. And with this company, LifeVantage, kind of just spitballing here, but I was thinking about how to recognize a business on timing. So how many people here the first time they heard about LifeVantage was from the person that they ultimately signed up with the business? Probably a majority of you. So any other network marketing company that you've probably heard of, you've heard about it before somebody ultimately approached you for the business, right? If you had been approached by another company, whether that be something that's been around a long time like Amway or Avon or Mary Kay. And I started thinking about that, and that's what timing is. That's being before the curve. When the person that first introduces you to it, that's the person you ultimately sign up with, and it's the first time you hear about it. And that's exactly what happened with me. The first time I heard about it was from Mariah, who heard about it from her mom, and so on and so forth. Marilyn heard about it from Sharon first, and that's how she was introduced to the business. And that's just huge. And ultimately, there'll be a point in time where this company will be branded, and that's when you're walking down the street and you see the little guy, Gene, wherever he's at, it's our logo, and you know that's LifeVantage. You see the swoosh, what is that? It's Nike. That's branding. And after you hit that critical mass or that branding point, the company shifts into momentum, and at that period, 80% of the growth, the lifetime growth of a company happens. So right now, we haven't been branded as a company. We're approaching it. The window of opportunity is wide open. It's closing slowly every day, but it's wide open right now. So we still have 80% of the growth of this company still to go. And that's what gets me excited. That's what has us working so hard, and that's what has everybody else in this room so excited, is that over the last 6-7 years, we've really just been laying down this innovators and early adapters foundation, and there's still a lot of room for growth. You want to go ahead, Mark? You can go past this. Oh yeah, so now I want to talk about how you can get involved. We'll go to that next. How you can get involved. So if you're thinking that you want to use the products and you want to become a customer, you can get involved with that. The products will be shipped straight to your door. You'll pay the same exact price as the people that are doing the business or the distributors in this company. You'll get the products at the same price. And if you want to become a business builder or a distributor in the company, there's actually 4 options. There's the business pack, silver pack, gold pack, platinum pack. And as you can see here, you can see what the products or the packages will cost you: $1,200, $600, $350, and you can see what you'll get in products. So for the platinum pack, gold pack, and the silver pack, you actually get more product than what the package costs you. So with this, you're getting $140 extra, $43 extra, $40 extra, and then that one you don't get any product. The business pack. That's why we always recommend going after one of these top 2 or 3 packs, because that's where you're going to get product to promote your business, product to use personally and develop stories with. Because how are you going to be able to share a business, a product-based business, without having any experience with the products on your own? So I would recommend the platinum. This is good, better, best. If nothing else, you can get in on the business pack and go from there. But I would definitely recommend one of the top 3 packs. Go ahead, Mark. So, like Pam had mentioned, LifeVantage is a publicly traded company. We're on the NASDAQ, and I like that for the simple fact that we have this income disclosure statement, and if you see this monthly average chart here, and the ranks on the left there from distributor all the way up to Pro 10, those are real numbers in the company. We are publicly traded. We can't fudge these numbers at all. So there's people in this room, if you follow that monthly average, from distributor all the way down to Pro 9. So these are, there's life-changing money, there's part-time money, and there's that car payment, groceries. But just think about, as you move down that chart, what would make a difference for you, and what would make it worth, your time, 5-10 hours a week extra to go out and share this and build a business. For somebody it might be $250, and somebody might have big goals and they don't want to spend their time doing anything that's not going to get them $10,000 a month. But just be realistic and realize that those are going to take a different amount of effort. You're not going to put in a $250 a month effort and make $40,000 a month. It's, the amount of work you put in is going to be what you're going to get out for results. Go ahead, Mark. Another really cool thing about this company is the My Life Venture program. So once you get to the rank of Pro 7 or those elite ranks in the company, and you hold that volume consistently for a year, the company actually gives you the keys and title to a Jeep, or you can do a $25,000 check. There's a variety of other options. Most people choose the Jeep because it's kind of like a sign of freedom, and they're pretty badass. Get those slides up here. Also, there's the LifeVantage Legacy program. This is one of the things that I'm really looking forward to helping out with sometime down the road. This is our company's way of giving back. It's our, our philanthropic side, and one of the main charities we've been giving back to is Families Helping Families, and is actually going down to Mexico. The distributors in the company go down there and they build homes with the people in really impoverished areas of the country. So it's just really great to be partnered with a company that's, one of their main goals is giving back and, making the world a better place. But with that, if you guys have any questions, feel free to approach any of us. Any of us that have been in the business, and we can get those answered. If not, just get back with the person that invited you and kind of let them know where you're at. They're going to be wondering what you're thinking. Just let them know, hey, thanks for inviting me, thanks for participating in this cool room, but it's not for me, or I want the product, I want more information, or I'm ready to get started. Just kind of let them know where you're at. So thanks you guys for coming out and learning something new.